Well, I guess the number one fear and the one word that nobody wants to hear is root canal. So, can you tell me a little bit about that?
Sure. There are a couple of situations when a root canal comes up. Surprisingly, the most frequent situation when a patient needs a root canal is when the tooth does not hurt. When this happens, what has typically been done to the tooth is there is an old filling. And let's say there's an old filling there. The tooth has sustained some damage, whether it's new decay on the old filling or it is a crack or something like that. And now we need to work on the tooth. When there's a big filling and it's close to the nerve, which is inside that tooth, okay, goes right, snakes right down the middle of the tooth. If there's an old filling here and the nerve right here, and I have to get in there and then there's some decay sitting here, I'm gonna have to go in there and do a root canal. So what is a root canal? A root canal is when I remove the nerve, like taking the wick out of a candle, and then I fill it back up with a sealer or a cement that keeps bacteria from getting back in. Okay.
Is that painful? Because that sounds like it hurts.
So there are some rare occurrences where a patient does feel pain with getting a root canal. I can't sit here and lie and say there's no circumstances. That circumstance has to do with the tooth being overwhelmed with infection. So those patients tend to come in and they're holding their face and they've been up all night for 2 nights in a row. But most of the time a root canal is easily handled without any pain. And a lot of patients go to sleep. So you're in there doing this tedious work that the dentist is doing and the patient is fast asleep because they're just like, I'm not feeling anything. The nerve is out of the tooth, it's been properly numbed. So it's not a big deal in 99% of root canals that I do. So if I have a patient that has severe pain, that's coming with severe pain, one of the things we may look at is doing something like antibiotics to get everything to calm down just a little bit to take the edge off so we can work around the tooth. But when a patient comes in for a root canal, what we'll do is the same thing as like a crown. So if there's essentially no difference in the way I'm going to numb the mouth or the way we're going to treat the case. There's nothing extra. Okay, even if I was doing a filling, if I was doing a filling on a back tooth, I'm going to do the exact same numbing procedure. Okay, we're going to place topical jelly. That topical jelly will take the edge off of us doing a needle, because we will have to do that. We'll anesthetize the patient. It's an unfortunate thing, but that helps us do dentistry. Okay, so they'll get numb, and again, I'll wait 5 minutes or so for them to get numb, for it to become profound. We'll test the tooth, kind of blow some air on it or blow some cold water on it. If the patient's still feeling sensitivity, we place some more anesthetic until we're comfortable. Here we do a crown prep first. We don't like to have the patient walking around with a tooth that can potentially break. So we do a crown prep, and then we'll do digital scanning and send it out, all that kind of thing. And then we'll start with our root canal. And a root canal, as I said, is just taking the wick out of a candle. So once I open up the tooth is pain-free, I take the nerve out, and then I'm just gonna put some cleaning material. I'm just cleaning in there. It's like cleaning pots and pans. And I have small tools to get in there and clean. And then once everything's disinfected, we fill it up with cement. And that's it. And then we put something on top, and then you get a crown. It's really easy.
Sounds easy.
Yes.
Sounds easy.
So then after you get a root canal, it is typical that you might have a little bit of soreness because someone was working on you. It was a lot of work that the patient had. And that can be treated with some Tylenol. We're not talking about anything crazy. And that's maybe a 12-hour thing. It's not severe pain afterwards. Mainly when you do a root canal, the biggest thing is, again, coming back to this idea of a temporary crown on the tooth. So we don't want them to floss. We don't want them to have sticky food because the temp will then come off. And if they have this occurrence where the temp comes off, we want them to come back in as soon as possible.
Well, sounds easy.
It is.
I think I'm ready to be a dentist. I think I'm ready to be. I mean, if I knew it was that easy, you know.
Right.
No, I'm joking. Well, I know you mentioned a root canal. So how, like, are there symptoms to know Like, like
So-
what would happen? How do I know I need a root canal before I come to a dentist?
So before you come to a dentist, it's kind of hard to know that you need a root canal. One of the big things that I would say is a deciding factor is if you've been up all night with pain and you just have no hope of sleeping. That's a good indication. But even then, we want to put together this symptom, the pain, with what we're seeing on an x-ray. So the x-ray, if the nerve is close to the decay, if it's close to a filling, or if the tooth is broken in a certain way, then we know we got to do it.